Good afternoon. My name is Sarenia Oldahana. I'm with OPQ Office of Quality Surveillance, and today I'm going to give you a very brief 15-minute presentation on emerging topics and trends in recent inspections. The objective for this presentation is to give you a high-level overview of the drug inspection programs, overview of what inspection data shows, and on emerging topics utilizing our text analytics projects that we have currently ongoing in Office of Quality Surveillance, and also provide you an overall recommendation on successful inspections. Okay, inspection programs. Under the Food and Drug Cosmetic Act, Section 704, FDA has the mandate and authority to inspect establishments. These are specifically establishments which manufacture, process, pack, or hold drug products for the introduction into interstate commerce. These inspections can be triggered through three different mechanisms. The first one being a new application. So when a new application comes in, either in pre or post approval inspections may be triggered, and there's an emphasis on the may. The review staff evaluates the application and the facilities associated to determine whether inspection is warranted based on their own various risk-based evaluations. The second trigger point for inspections is the site selection model. So surveillance inspections are triggered through these mechanisms, which is another risk-based facility evaluation, risk-based facility selection mechanism that is used to select facilities from a list of facilities that we have in our inventory for manufacturing, processing, packing, or holding drug products. The objective is to ensure that these firms consistently manufacture drug products with acceptable quality, and also minimize the exposure of adulterated drug products to the U.S. patient population. The third type of trigger point is a specific event. These are for-cause inspections, and they could be triggered as part of a follow-up to a compliance action or other events such as recalls, field alert reports, complaints, and or other indicators that the agency has received that warrant for investigators to go out to the facility to either ensure corrective actions have been implemented or to understand actually what is happening at that facility. Okay. A bit more on pre-approval inspection program. The pre-approval inspection program has three different objectives to it. The objective one is readiness for commercial manufacturing. This is to determine whether establishments have the quality system sufficient to be able to control manufacturing during commercial manufacturing. So facilities going from manufacturing pivotal batches to manufacturing commercial batches is to ensure that they are capable of handling that commercial manufacturing. The second objective is the conformance to application. And this is to verify that information that is submitted through the CMC is complete and accurate. So it's verify that the formulation, the manufacturing or processing methods, both processing and analytical methods, are consistent with the descriptions that is contained within the CMC sections of the application. The last part of the objective is data integrity, and just like the name suggests, this is to review that the raw data, this is both hard copy and electronic, are authentic and true, and that data submitted in the CMC section of the applications could be trusted by product reviewers, that they could rely on this information to make their determination on the application. The surveillance program. Okay, so this is the biggest program we have, and it comprises for inspection of all distributed products that are within scope. For facilities that are listed within approved application, but also registered products. So OTC products are within the scope of the surveillance program. Their objective is to determine whether the CGMPs are being followed by the facilities, and also, when necessary, provide evidence for enforcement actions to prevent adulterated products from entering the market. They are system-based inspections. There are 6 systems, so this is very important that the FDA's system-based inspections comprises of 6 systems. They are the quality, facility and equipment, material, production, packaging and labeling, and laboratory controls. So coverage of these systems is essential to the surveillance program, and 2 or more of these systems is evaluated during each inspection. It's more like a lot of inspections will cover actually 5 or 6 systems. And as part of the program, it is mandatory that each inspection does cover the quality system. So negative findings from the surveillance program could result in warning letters, consent decrees, import alerts, or other enforcement or regulatory actions. At the end of an inspection, so the investigator has an option to issue an FDA Form 483, so the commonly known as 483s. And if no form is issued at the end of the inspection, there's usually no action has been indicated, or the NAI classifications that you normally hear about. If there is an observation or many observations associated with the facility, then based on the significant nature of the observations, the investigator will classify that inspection as either VAI, which is your voluntary action indicated, or your OAI, which is your official action indicated. So OAI is your worst case scenario. This is considered to be the initial recommendation outcome, and then this is further evaluated towards the final recommendation. So the initial recommendations are further evaluated to make sure that there is concurrence for the final recommendations. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly pivot to introduction to the quality surveillance, the Office of Quality Surveillance, and what we do. We are an office within OPQ, and our mission, as a state specifically, is that it is to assure that quality medicines are available through signal detection, data analysis, review of the state of quality, and proactive stakeholders. As part of this office, we have taken on one of our current initiatives is to provide reviewers, compliance officers, and investigators with a current and up-to-date information as it relates to facilities and what the products that they manufacture and the quality defects that are seen at those facilities. So this is the quality surveillance dashboard and has various components to it. Today, and it also is used to help best assess the pharmaceutical quality system effectiveness, manufacturing capabilities, and such. On today, I am just going to give you a small flavor of one of those components of this initiative, which is where we're utilizing natural language processing, text analytics, and visualization to help us best inform detected signals or trends that are occurring at the facility. So FDA Form 483s are issued at the end of the inspection. If there is an observation, the observation there may be more than one observations at that facility. And these observations that are listed, each one has two parts to them. The first part, as you will see highlighted in yellow here, is the summary of the observation, and the part two goes into the examples or the specific details that the investigators saw as they were issuing that observation. So as part of our text analytics, the first part of the observation is mainly used through, the investigators could use templated summaries to generate that first portions of it. So we utilize pattern matching to make sure to match towards a specific 211 citation. So in this case, the template matches to 211-192 citation. And the second part is to taking a look at the example or specific text portions of it. In this part, this is where the investigator has a free text, and they can write a lot about what they saw. And at this point, we understand that there may be more than one topic that is being discussed within the observation. So this is really to help us provide further insight as to what investigators are looking at. In this specific case, the investigator's main issue that they have identified was investigation. They're citing it under 211-192 as they're discussing that specific observation. There are various topics that appear, which are the investigation portions of it, and also certain topics relating to quality responsibilities. So we're utilizing text analytics and pattern matching to really get a better insight as to what are the main things that are being discussed. One thing to make sure to understand, utilizing these types of technologies or analytics does introduce a higher level of inaccuracy into data matching. So this is used towards a higher level of matching or trend analysis, and not in the evaluation of each individual observation. So looking at the overall, the past 3 fiscal years, I was getting ready for this inspection, just wanted to give you a little bit flavor on how many inspections. So we have about 1,500 inspections that occur on every fiscal year, and various fiscal years, and there is an increasing trend on PAI only inspections, but not by a lot. As you can see, majority, 75% of inspections do have a surveillance component to them. That's the 6 system-based inspection. So a lot of the inspections that you're going to see at your site will contain that system-based inspections to them. You also notice that these inspections, whether there is an increasing trend of initial OAI recommendations coming out, and that when there's both a surveillance and a PAI code associated with that inspection, that there is a higher trend of initial OAI classifications. And again, I'll emphasize that this is initial classifications, and after further review, those may end up being reclassified. Okay, so overview of these inspections that we're looking at. When we are taking these pattern matched 21 CFRs, we had over 20,000 CFRs that we utilized pattern matching to match to the 21 CFRs. But I'm narrowing down to fiscal year 2017 to 2019. We wanted to take a look at what are the majority of citations, which subparts do they fall under. When I say subparts, within the 21 part 211, it's the major categories, the different highlighted parts. So those are the subparts that we're talking about. So for these past 3 fiscal years, records and reports and laboratory controls and organization and personnel are the highly cited subparts areas within the CFR. And this trend, there is no specific time-based trend or inspection type trend to these various subparts areas that are cited. So taking a further look into these areas, the records and reports subsection, majority of the topics that are discussed. So on the left-hand side is our topic-based evaluations. A lot of what the investigators are discussing within their details section. They are discussing investigations, root cause analysis, corrective implementations of corrective actions or the lacks of them or the issues that they're seeing. And these are being cited under 21 CFR 211-192, followed by 188 and 194. Within the laboratory controls, you see topics around stability programs, exploration dating, which I guess relates to stability programs as well, and method validations. These are the most prominent ones that are appearing, which appear to also be cited utilizing 211-160 as the main citation area. For operations and personnel, the emerging topics are quality unit responsibilities, procedures, training, and change control. So, these are, some of these are things that we already know, and the data is showing as such. And these are being cited under 211-22 and 211-25. So that was a very fast way of looking at what emerging trends and topics are. So overall, what are major tips that you want to take away for a successful inspection? One thing is to really strive for a mature quality management program. We are striving to continually improve on how we look at the issues that are currently at your site. So it's proven to you to start utilizing various ways to really make sure that you are continually improving and you have a robust commitment towards quality. And it is also important that significant issues are identified before inspection. Your major investigations have adequate corrective and preventive actions in place. They are executed accordingly. That senior management is aware of these potential issues. You want to empower your staff to be able to really bring up those potential issues so that you're aware of them prior to these inspections occurring. And as you can see, we're trying to really take a look at this across trends. So it is also important that you really do look at global corrections, issues that are occurring on one of your sites versus other sites. And for sponsors and even facilities, it's very important to really look at your supply chain, understanding that you have various facilities within your supply chain, and one facility that is submitted towards an application resulting in OAI could impact the entire application. So it is important that you do adequate due diligence and your supplier qualification and management programs are in place. Okay, on question. How many systems are in the CEDAR surveillance inspection program? A is 4, B is 7, C is 6, D 2. And the answer is C 6. Thank you very much for your attention.
Good afternoon. My name is Rose Xu. I'm working for Office of Manufacturing Process Assessment. Today, my topic will be manufacturing establishment. I will focus on facility submission expectations. As you already know that in October 2019, FDA issued a new Q&A 356H guidance. So why the applicant has to provide the facility information in the applications? According to 21 CFR 31450A and 31494A1, for a BLA it is 6012A. Applicant has to submit a form FDA 356H for manufacturing facility information. Even though that you think it is simple, however, agency does issue many IR information requests or refuse to file or refuse to receiving due to the incorrect information or information missing in the 356H form. Here is a few examples. Missing facility information in FDA form 356H. Incorrect information provided in FDA form 356H. Or inconsistent information between form 356H and module 3. So what facility information should be included in form FDA 356H? The first one is all commercial drug product manufacturing and testing site has to be included. Second one is all intermediate and final drug substance manufacturing and testing site. Third is facilities that manufacturing a constituent part of a co-package or single entity combination product or drug device combination product that are proposed to be involved in the disposition of a commercial product. Lastly, any facilities used for storing or warehousing drug substance in processing material and a commercial drug product under quarantine prior to disposition decision. So I will go through each category one by one in the next few slides. For drug product manufacture, of course, the drug product manufacturing side has to be included. Although the testing side, including the stability testing and release testing, has to be included as well. For primary packaging side, have to be enlisted. And also the sites that store the drug product or in processing material or stability samples has to be included as well. So what's the difference between the facility mentioned in 356H and Module 3? So any sites for commercial production has to be reported in both Form 356H and Module 3. However, for those sites that only for registration batch or clinical batch manufacturing, they can be reported in Module 3. Some of the companies have an R&D site that uses to generate the data in supporting of the applications. They can be listed in Module 3. The last one I put in there is for the critical excipients. If that is the critical excipient testing site or packaging sites, they can be listed in Module 3, but not necessarily in 356H4. So same for the drug substance manufacturing. All the drug substance commercial manufacturing and testing site has to be listed, and all critical intermediate manufacturing testing site has to be listed. So we often see many applicants submitted the drug substance side, but they never really including the critical intermediate. Just wanted to remind everybody that DMF, when we review the DMF and we find that this is a critical intermediate site, we will issue the IR to ask the applicant to including that critical intermediate site. For the site that conduct sterilization and micronization of the drug substance, they have to be listed as well. Again, for sites that use for commercial production, they have to be listed in both Form 356H and Module 3. However, for the sites that for registration batch or clinical batch manufacturing, they can be only reported in Module 3. And for the R&D site that generate the data in supporting of this drug substance, you can use, they can be listed in Module 3. For a combination product, what is that definition? Any facility that manufacturing a constituent part of a co-package or single entity combination product or drug device combination product that are subject to 21 CFR Part 4. That including final kitting of facilities, or facilities that conduct design control activities, which include verifications and validations of a device constituent part. So what is a device constituent part manufacturer? Steve will talk more about combination product in the next session. However, here I just wanted to mention the sites. So any sites involved in the disposition of a commercial product should be listed in Form 356H. If the facility that has two different constituent part manufacturing operations, they should be clearly stated in the field 28. So for example, for the drug, they have to state that they follow the 211 or 210. For a device, it has to state that 820 is followed in the cGMP operation system. If the facility that manufacturing a single entity or co-packaging combination product, they should also identify which cGMP operation systems is established and followed. For other sites that involved in the disposition of development batches, they can be listed in Module 3. I put a last one that we also see something that is missing. That is the device component manufacturer. Those component manufacturer does not need to be listed in 356H. However, you can list them in the Module 3. So what information has to be provided in 356H form? Here is the field 28 that I just copied here. And I do want to, it's kind of small. I don't expect you to read all the details. But just to keep in mind that we do need to establish name and address. And next to it is the FEI number and a DUN number. You have to indicate in the form that whether it is new to the applications and the status of this firm, whether it's pending, active, inactive, or withdrawal. Also, there's an area talking about manufacturing step and the type of testing. They have to be filled correctly and also be consistent with what is provided in Module 3. So now I would like to share some information. What information is often seen missing or wrong in the FDA Form 356H? We see so many. Here I only give a few examples that we see so often. The first one came up is that no FEI number or DUN number provided in 356H. So if the applicant do not know the right number or they don't know the correct numbers, they always put like 999 in the form and submit to agency and hope that we can figure out what that FEI number or DUN number is for them. That is not acceptable. So in the next slide, I will tell you the email address that you can request or confirm what is the right FEI number or DUN numbers for that facility. And the second one that we see so often is that usually in the amendment or the supplement that the applicant want to add a new facilities. So there's two ways they do. They either mention in the cover letter that there's a new facility added, but they never really check the yes box in the 356H form. Or the other way is that in the cover letter, they never mention that there's a new facility added, but when we review the 356H form, we find that the yes box is checked. Same thing for the withdrawal facilities. The applicant want to withdraw the facility for any of the reasons. Could be the OAI or could be some facility is no longer used. In this case, we find that they mentioned in the cover letter that they want to withdraw that facility. However, they never really check in the 356H form. Vice versa, that the applicant submitted cover letter talking about something else, never mention anything that they are intended to withdraw the facility. However, when we do the review, we did check the 356H form, and we noticed that they marked the withdrawal of that facility. So, because of the inconsistent information, we do not know whether the applicant intend to withdraw or still keeping the same facility, and we have to issue the IR in this case. The fourth one that we also see often is that the manufacturing step and the function is not consistent between Form 356H and Module 3, so letting us very confusing of what exactly the roles and responsibility that these facilities do. And also we see that in the amendment, especially when there's a new facility added, they only list that new facility in 356H or Module 3. They never really listed the new current facility is not listed anymore. That is not right. Since the amendment has not been approved yet, the applicant should list all the current ones, including the new ones, in 356H or in Module 3. So here is the slide that tells you the email address where you can get a FEI number or DUN number. So to obtain a FEI number for GDUFA-related facility, you can email that address. For a PDUFA or PSUFA-related facility, email a different address. To obtain a DUN number, I also list this website. If you want to verify a previously obtained FEI number or DUN number, there's also a website that you can go and check. Now I would like to talk about how to withdraw a facility. In the amendment and the supplement, the procedure to withdraw a facility is slightly different. So for an amendment, since this application is not approved yet, you have to check yes for this facility and then check the withdrawal to make sure that this facility is withdrawn from the amendment. However, if you withdraw this facility in amendment number 1, you still have to check this form withdraw in all the subsequent amendments until this application is approved or withdrawn. But to withdraw a facility in a supplement, they are slightly different. The withdrawal facility is previously approved under 21 CFR 31470 or 60112. Therefore, you have to check the no box. That means it's not new to this applications, and then check the withdrawal box. Since this withdrawal facility is previously approved and now it's withdrawn, you do not need to list all this withdrawal facility in the subsequent supplements. So here I want to share with you one of the example. That is the drug product testing site A is bought by another company, B, but the testing is still conducted at testing site A. The applicant wanted to inform the agency. So what did they do is two options. A, they explain in the cover letter that this site is bought by company B, but testing is still conducted in site A. And then they withdraw this testing site A in Form 356H, but adding the company B in the 356H form. Or B, they explain in the cover letter what happened, and they keep the same testing site A in the 356H, but they change the name of site A. So which is the right way to do? Definitely is B, because if you do it like change the site, withdraw the site in A, that means the testing is no longer conducted in site A, which is not right. So continue, what information is missing or often seen that is wrong in FDA Form 356H? That is the incomplete supply chain. We see this so often that applicant withdraw one site, especially for the drug substance side or drug product side. However, there's no new drug substance or drug product side proposed. That means this supply chain is incomplete and we cannot approve this application without a complete supply chain information. So now I would like to shift the gear to Module 3. What needs to be included in Module 3? Even though there's no certain format of what information needs to be included in Module 3, but this is a table that we often see the company provided and we really like that way. First is the site name, site address, the FEI number. If it's a drug substance, you have to provide a DMF number, and then listing the specific manufacturing responsibility or type of the testing. So here, I also give the list of the items that often seem wrong or missing in Module 3. The first one is the facility that used during the drug product development or used for clinical batch manufacturing. Those supposed to be listed in Module 3, but they were not there. And also the facility that manufacturing the critical drug substance intermediate were not listed. They are not in the 356H form. They're supposed to be in Module 3, but they were not there. And also the facility that developed and validated the testing method were not provided. The last one is we see the inconsistent or unclear information provided in Module 3. So all this can leaving us issued IR. So the last one I would like to talk about is the crude heparin sites. Crude heparin is slightly different than a raw material. So the way that we want a company to provide is that all the crude heparin sites and heparin testing sites should be listed in both Form 356H and in Module 3. If there are any change in the heparin site or the crude heparin site, you have to inform FDA right away. In the amendment or supplement, you have to list all the current crude heparin sites, including current and new heparin sites, in both Form 356H and Module 3. If there's any withdrawal or any adding a new site, you have to clearly mark withdraw on you in this form 356H. But keep in mind, we understand that it's very often that the heparin site will change to crude heparin supplier. So anytime when you submit an amendment or supplement, please list all the current crude heparin site, including the new ones and the one that you no longer use. If you have any questions, you can always email FDA. So now I understand I give you a lot of information in such a short time. I'd like to get into the testing. The first question is, if you do not know the FEI number of a firm that supplies the crude heparin, what should you do? A, use number 9999 in field 28 for FEI number. B, email FDA to get the correct FEI number. C, email the heparin manufacturer and ask them to get the FEI number from the crude heparin supplier. The answer is B and C. Question number 2. If you wanted to switch a critical drug substance intermediate site, do I need to report it to FDA? A, don't need to report since it is not the drug product or drug substance site. B, only need to report it in Module 3. C, needed to report it in both Form 356H and Module 3. What is the correct answer? C. So here's the end of my talk. I would like to acknowledge Yin Zhang and William Pai. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Rose. That was very well done, and we are ready now to go on into the Q&A session for the Q&A portion of this session. Again, if you do have any questions, we've had a lot of questions come in. We've probably got more than we can handle already, but if you do have any that you'd like to get in the lower right-hand corner is that Q&A pod. But without further ado, we're going to do somewhere between 10-15 minutes Q&A because we've had somebody come in. So I'm going to turn it over to Lisa to ask the first question.
Thank you, Jeff. Our first question is for Cecilia. I hope I'm saying that right. You're on the line? Cecilia? Hello?
And Sabina had called into the bridge.
Here we go. Now we hear you. Okay, great. Our first question is for you. And you're ready? Okay. The person wants to know, with the current situation with COVID, how has this affected the inspection program? Are inspections being delayed or postponed right now?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
And Sedenia, we heard you there for a second. If you're dialed into the phone bridge directly, which I believe you are, it should just be a matter of unmuting your cell phone so that we can hear you.
Brenda, can you hear me?
Yes, Sedenia, we can hear you now. Can you speak a little bit louder right into the cell phone, please? And it sounds like there may just be a huge delay with Sedenia's connection to the bridge. Lisa, do we happen to have a question that we could go to with Rose while we try to work out Sedenia's audio issue?
Sure, that would be great. Rose, are you ready for a question?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great, yep. Okay, all right, so your question, they want to know, does a company need to include the manufacturing site of the key starting material for drug substances in an ANDA application?
we're talking about, yes, the critical intermediate of the drug substance has to be reported in both 356H and Module 3.
Okay, great. Thank you. And your next question is, when a site, I believe it's when a site is withdrawn, does that need to be mentioned in the site in the 356H form during the life cycle, or when the site is at withdrawal?
Well, actually, I talked about this in my slides. So there's two scenarios. One, if it's for amendment, yes, you do. You need to, because this facility has not been approved yet in these applications. Even though it's withdrawal, you have to put all this withdrawal in the life cycle. However, it's for the supplement, then it's a different way. You can only mention, submitted once in the supplement, and then you no longer need to do the same thing in the subsequent supplements anymore.
Okay, great.
Actually, I want to get back to my first question. Can you hear me clearly?
I think, Jeff, can you jump
hear
in?
me?
Rose, hi, Rose. This is Jeff. We can hear you good. It sounds like perhaps the audio on your PC, you've still got sound turned up on your PC. Hopefully you're able to hear the questions that Lisa's answering or asking over your cell phone. So you should be able to turn your PC speakers down and just listen on the phone.
Yeah, that's what let me do it again. Is that better now?
Yes, we're getting a little bit of static. We'll work to ground on that. We're also getting called back in. Lisa, do we have another question we could go to for Rose?
Yeah. Yep, we have another question. We have lots of questions. Are all of the outside lab testing for excipients, should those be included in the 356H form along with Module 3?
No, if it's for the excipient testing side, you do not need to report it in Module 3 or 356H.
Okay, great. We have another question for Rose. If a facility is listed on the 356H as inactive, should the facility information such as the address, FEI, DUNS, should that be kept up to date and current even though it is inactive on the 356H?
Well, if it's inactive, that means this facility is no longer in active state, right? It's not like it's no longer used for this application anymore, right? We still wanted to get the correct information for sure, yes.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, and we're going to switch gears and go over to Sedania. Are you ready for a question?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. I can hear you wonderfully. So the first question is about COVID-19. How has this affected the inspection program? Are inspections being delayed or postponed right now?
So with this COVID, currently only essential personnel are available. So the agency or our office is evaluating, what are our other methods for conducting surveillance programs. So this is actively being evaluated right now. There are other programs like the MRA, the mutual recognition programs, the 706 programs, and also just other various risk level evaluations that the agency is doing to mitigate within this current condition.
Okay, great. Thank you. Another question for you. Under what circumstances can a firm request a facility inspection?
So a firm cannot directly request for an inspection. As I discussed earlier, these inspections are triggered through various forms. So if an application is submitted, you could expect that there may be an inspection that will come to that facility. However, based on future inspection experiences or their level of involvement or the level of risk that is being identified by the review division, there may or may not be inspection.
Great, thank you. Okay, we have another question for you. Who is the FDA point of contact for the status of a 483 response to FDA? About how many days will it take FDA to issue an EIR letter after an inspection? Those are two separate ones. But.
So after an inspection has been conducted, the investigator who's out inspecting, especially if it is a foreign inspection, you have to realize they could be out doing several different inspections in the same time period. And afterwards, there is a time where they're writing the EIR, and that inspection, that EIR goes back and for further evaluation. So there are several elements that go in after an inspection has been completed, and that initial classification does get reviewed for various items such as patient impact or actual severity of the issue that is being observed. So when you see those time periods, that is, all of those are being factored in, and some of the timelines are dictated through some of the user programs, the GDUFA and the GDUFA user programs as well.
Great, thank you. We have another inspection question for you. A company has been told that FDA is not going to be able to inspect the facility, a PAI, prior to the user fee date of this summer. Does that mean that the company should expect the user fee date to be pushed back, or should they expect a CRL?
So you should definitely contact your review division, the people that are reviewing your application, to understand how that specifically impacted your application. The agency is doing a lot of different evaluations to make sure that other methods could be utilized to evaluate a facility other than inspection. So this is going to be case by case, and you should contact the review division to request that information.
Okay.
Yeah, I can add to this. So we actually have a team that is review the risk. It's really based on the risk because of that COVID, related situation, that some of the inspection that is really necessary for this, the pre-approval inspection. However, we cannot conduct it. So we do have some other ways to do, and we have a team that access the risk and then make the final decision. So just like Sadie said, that you have to contact the review team, and we will let you know what approach that we are using right now.
Okay, great. And the next question is for either of you. They noted, does the research and development come under FDA purview for a possible inspection? If yes, then what kind of inspection would it be, GMP or data integrity?
What is the first one? What type of facility is it?
Research and development, R&D.
Oh, okay. You said what type of inspection? So if it's depend, if you said R&D is purely in the very early stage, not really used for registration batch, development, then registration batch manufacturing, then if we find there's anything and we come over, we actually will look for the data integrity.
Okay, great. We have another inspection question. So if an inspection is triggered by an ANDA application, and then for the same production line, a PAS is to be submitted for an approved NDA, and they want to add the facility as an alternate manufacturing site several months after, would the FDA perform 2 inspections?
Well, depends. If you're talking about the inspection is triggered by ANDA applications, again, I have to emphasize that the agency decided to do an inspection based on the risk. So we have, the risk assessment. Based on that risk, then we decide whether we will come over to that facility for the pre-approval inspection. So if you add an alternative facility, and again, we will look at that, the risk, and then make the decision before making a decision to come for an inspection. So it's not like yes or no. It's not that way.
Okay, great. We have another question. So do R&D facilities need to self-identify per GDUFA?
Can you repeat that question again?
Sure. Do research and development facilities ever need to self-identify under GDUFA?
And do you want to answer that, Sardinia?
So if the facility needs to be identified as part of the application for the manufacturer, that is something that needs to be included within the 356H, like Rose explained. If there's a specific other type of facility, I'm not exactly sure what the question is asking.
Sorry, I thought that you talk about inspection. No, if it's a 356H form, if it's purely for R&D, no, you can put it into the module 3, not a 356H form. I thought like inspection, then inspection we really do is risk-based. We cannot really tell you, yes, we are or not, we are not. But you have to report in module 3, and we will make assessment based on your, the submissions, the data, all those things. We put all the, the holistic approach.
Okay, great. We have one more 356H question. This will be our last question. Do testing facilities for excipients and container closures need to be listed in the 356H form and Module 3 or not?
They have to be listed in Module 3, but not 356H.
All right, thank you. That concludes our question.
And thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rose, especially coming back online and getting everything squared away so we could go through all those wonderful questions. Because